Welcome to the Elle Bee Show. I'm your host, Elle Bee. So, most of the things that you're about to hear are my opinion. But guess what? We sprinkled in some facts because we're what? Educated bees over here in this hive. Don't forget to check out the website for our resources so you can do some additional research on your own. Now, prepare to be stung, but the solve is not included. All right, so y'all coming in on this conversation that we're having in studio right now about colorism in the C-suite. So I have worked in corporate America, have in the past. I don't currently, thank the Lord. 10 and a half years. Casey is coming from, corporate America for however many years, because I don't want to tell y'all how old she is.
I'm good with that.
Okay, well, a long time.
Yes, experience.
And, we have both experienced the bullshit. We were having a conversation just about how, now companies are just like, oh, we need DEI and inclusivity and this is that or whatever. Yeah, but where was all that shit back in the 80s? In the 90s? In the early 2000s? So, I work for this company. We live in Michigan. I told you guys, we live in Michigan. And I work for this company. And I was there for 10 and a half years, okay? Every time I tried to move up and advance in my career and I did all of the things that were asked of me, I was told, nope. I had two people, one person in particular that I did work with who was melanated deficient and literally 2 days older than me. Literal 2 days. 2 days. He was my boss. Okay? Now, this person made it extremely hard for any person of color, i.e. the black people, to move up within the company. Didn't matter that my numbers were always top tier. It didn't matter that I was extremely good at my job. It didn't matter that my clients were grateful. It didn't matter that I was the only person that did certain things on my team because I was just that damn good. None of that shit mattered. It was like, you black, you ain't qualified, you can't handle it. There was another melanated deficient man who was a director. He also made it hard for us, the black people, and anybody else for that matter, to move forward within the company because he said out of his mouth that we could not handle the pressure of being in leadership.
Who was we?
The minorities, i.e. the black people. Okay. What kind of shit is that, yo?
Yeah.
What is that for real? I mean, I was at this company for 10 and a half years. And I remember distinctively one summer, and this is going to give it away because you can definitely Google this. One summer, there was a mural put up downtown where it was supposed to represent the company and who we were as a company and the people that worked there. All the people in the mural were melanated deficient.
Oh, but that was representative.
But it was supposed to be representative of the people that worked there.
Is the mural still up?
No, it was down 2 days later.
Oh, when somebody noticed?
Oh, because the people were like, bitch, what? Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then in 2020, when a lot of people were having just the worst year of life because of COVID and people were losing family members left and right because of COVID and all that other kind of stuff. George Floyd happened in 2020, which, we will never forget that. But the George Floyd situation was something that had been happening for years, before Trayvon Martin, before Amadou Diallo, before all of that, because it's something that's a part of our culture that we experience, that we have that additional stress of when we leave our house. The question is, am I coming home today? It's just more prevalent because now there are cameras everywhere and people pull out their phones and start recording. But during that time period, some of the people that I worked with who were in the leadership positions who were also melanated deficient. Some of them were women. And I remember this one who was like the head of everything for my entire division. We were in this meeting and she uttered out of her mouth that she did not know what white privilege was. When I say the comments was like, everybody was like going in like, are you kidding me? How could you say that? This is so like, lady, what planet are you living on? She's like, I had no idea what white privilege was.
That was
girl,
easy.
what?
Yeah, that was convenient.
Girl, what?
That was convenient.
It was so disrespectful.
Yeah.
On so many levels.
This feels very therapeutic.
It does. It is therapeutic.
I am sitting here watching you process and kind of work through
the
BS. So
because
thank you
in this same
for this. Yeah.
In this same token, you know, I had a conversation where I had to explain to somebody who was, you know, like two people above me. And I had to explain to her, like, bro, I've been living with discrimination since I was 12 years old.
Absolutely.
The first time I ever realized that I was like really a black person for real, I was in Tennessee in a hotel, in a swimsuit, in an elevator, with a melanated deficient lady who thought that my brother and I were going to do something to her when we were in swimming suits because we were coming out of the pool.
That's silly.
We were on a family reunion.
Yeah, it's silly.
Getting out of the pool.
Yeah.
We going to our room because one of the adults said, hey, everybody go get changed. It's time to go. And
this lady,
we get on the elevator. She clutched her purse and got in the corner of the elevator. And I looked at my brother, and my brother looked at me. And we were just like,
I wish you all would have spread eagle and made her back up even more.
So
like,
what we did,
let me start twirling.
Right. What my brother did, which was so funny, because we got out the elevator before she did.
Yeah.
And we were getting out the elevator. He jumped at it, was like, boo! And she was like, ah!
Stop.
And it was just like, lady, what are we doing to you?
Yeah.
But back to the unmelanated people that I used to work with, you know, they were just like, well, if you really want to know about diversity, you should watch Django.
Who said that?
A satire?
That did not.
About enslavement? That is the worst movie to watch.
That was not said.
It was
It
watched.
could not have
and I
been
was
said.
just like,
No.
you're killing me, bro.
No. It had to have been said like in sarcasm.
No. They were serious.
No one in their right mind.
They were serious.
And that is so incredibly insulting.
And insensitive. Like Django, first of all, was a movie done by Quentin Tarantino.
Why would you say that
satire.
in a business setting? It violates so many HR comfort rule.
So many.
That's just ridiculous.
So many.
So ridiculous.
So this is the type of stuff that we, as people of color, deal with in the corporate level, in the corporate world all the time. I don't understand how companies have DEI professionals, but they're not melanated people. Yeah. I'm not saying that they got to be black, but they got to know what it is to be other.
Yeah, and you have to have some level of experience.
Yes.
Shared experience.
Yes.
Some level of intent.
Yes.
And it's something that you said earlier that's so accurate, is that as Black people within corporate environments, and even in but we're talking about corporate environments, we live a perpetual existence, an acute awareness of our color.
We wear masks.
We live, it is a perpetual identity of being Black.
Yeah.
Within those environments.
Of course we do. Like there were several instances over the years. I had a team leader who was melanin deficient, but we was mad cool. You know, he was married. He was married to a melanated woman.
Okay.
Yeah, she was Black.
Okay.
And you know, it was, I want to say, Philando Castile.
Yeah.
And then I can't even remember the other guy's name because it's been so many. Yeah, because they were right back to back. It was like 2 days apart.
Yeah, it was a bunch right in that same time frame.
So I was at my desk looking out the window, and I just wasn't on that day.
Yeah. This is after the incident, after the murder?
This was after both of them.
Okay, after the
because they both happened in the same week.
Okay.
I'm sitting at my desk, and
Eric Gardner, not Mays. Gardner.
Yeah, Eric Gardner.
Sorry. R.I.P. Eric Mays, R.I.P.
I'm sitting at my desk, and he walks over to me, and he was just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "No."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Does this have anything to do with me?" No. No. It has absolutely nothing to do with you.
No.
And so another who, a friend of mine, we're mad cool. She's melanated deficient, but I love her because she's an ally. She gets it.
Yeah.
She rolled over. She said, "Hey, what's going on today?" And I was like, "Have you seen the news?" She was just like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Okay." And I was like, "I'm not on today."
Yeah.
She was like, "Okay, I get it."
Yeah.
She was like, "I'll do," because he wanted me to do extra stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not in the mood.
You mentally
I'm tapped.
I am damaged at this point. I am going through a crisis.
So he was like, does this have anything to do with me? And I'm just like, no. I'm just not on today. So my friend, who, is also melanated deficient, but mad cool because she's an ally. She gets it. She understands. She wheeled over and was just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Have you seen the news?"
Yeah.
And she was just like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay, I get it." It's just, it was Alton Sterling. And then it was Philando Castile.
They were like back to back.
2 days in a row.
My stomach is turning.
And it's just like, can we get a dang on break?
Yeah.
So there's this video that came out around that time of this, young black lady who made this video about all of the killings that were happening of black people. And it's just like, you have to check your humanity to say, am I still a human?
That is so rich. That is so rich. That is something culturally, colorism, racism, all of the above. That is something that is so particular to our struggle in corporate America. Is because there is no detachment. When something happens in Minneapolis to an innocent black man as a passenger in a car, I feel it in Big Rapids, Michigan.
And that's the thing that we as a race have to deal with that nobody else has to deal with. And I
still have to go to work and perform. No one understands how that affects me in the workplace.
I still have to be on.
Have to be on. Check all of that humanity.
I have to be on.
Yeah.
I don't know these people.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But the
fact that they were innocent, minding their own black ass business. And my thing is, if they were doing something that was illegal,
still painful,
then,
but
just arrest them.
Yeah.
Take them to jail.
Unjustifiable, though.
If that's the case, but don't just pull out your gun and start shooting.
Unjustifiable. So we talked about George Floyd just a little bit.
Right.
I remember when all of the protests erupted all across the country, and being one of the very few of black people here in this city, even the students were protesting on campus.
Of course they were.
And when I tell you the fear and the angst that the city public officials felt when they heard that these black students were mobilizing, it was as if they were taking it like they were mobilizing against them.
No.
And I was writing letter after letter on behalf, and these students don't even know this to this day. Writing letter after letter on behalf of these students, calling them out by name, saying, this is an A+ student.
Right.
The representation or the way you're stereotyping this student is unacceptable.
Right.
I'm sending letters to everybody in the city because, and it goes back to the advocacy and having people that look like you.
Right.
It's because they felt so freaking threatened by these black students mobilizing, saying, we're upset, we're hurt,
fed up, we're tired.
We're fed up. They literally were about to deploy the National Guard.
Unnecessary. Because that's adding fuel to the fire.
And that is also bias on their part.
Exactly.
And they have stereotypes in the workplace, right? So just as quickly as we take on that pain, they take on that guilt. They take on that, even if they don't verbalize it, right?
Of course.
They absolutely can take on some of that, defensiveness.
Because it's too much to try and talk through a problem.
And because deep down, it's not even deep down. You know they're wrong.
Right.
Stop justifying that.
We don't want to talk about the problem. We don't want to acknowledge that
and we don't want to
is a problem.
Let me ignore it
let me just go straight to let me call the National Guard and let them shoot the people and deal with it.
So what we've done other episodes. We talked about K through 12 colorism. We talked about higher ed colorism. How is this any different?
It's not.
This is just the same student 10 years later.
It is.
15 years later.
Of course. It's the same thing. And it's like, you know, there is this poem, where a line is in the poem, we wear the mask.
Yes.
Because we do.
Yeah, we do.
We have to put on a mask.
Every day.
We have to code switch, which we shouldn't have to do.
Yeah.
Tabitha Brown, who I absolutely love, and it's an inspiration and inspires me to just be better because she's an amazing person.
Yeah.
And she gives you that energy through her videos, and I'm feeling it. She has this shirt in her line. It says, no more code switching.
Yeah.
I get so tired of code switching. And it's like, you code switch out of necessity. Because you have to survive.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, me personally, when I entered my PhD program is when I locked my hair. When I entered my PhD program is when I started to get like visible tattoos, right? When I entered my PhD program, probably the first day on that campus is when I said enough is enough and I will never code switch again.
You have to get to that point where you just be like, fuck this shit.
Anyway, because at that point I knew I had, and I don't care what anyone says, this was my personal experience. You can challenge me on anything, but there's certain things that you're just blatantly lying.
Right.
If you say that I have not accomplished this, I've not accomplished that.
Exactly.
I knew who I was at that moment, and I did not care. So I walk on this campus every day being my full self, thanking God and the universe.
Amen.
Thanking the universe and thanking God for that strength. But that's me, and it took so long to get to that point. So I am not downing anyone who's not there, but I would implore that we get there a heck of a lot quicker because it is liberating.
I think we all get there at different times.
Absolutely,
because I'm definitely there. At this point in my
do.
life, I am definitely there. Like, I don't give a fuck anymore because I am me. Take it or leave it.
It is what it is.
What I am not going to do is to help you make me feel a certain way about me and my blackness.
Yeah, and I'm not going to let you off the hook.
No.
I am not going to mitigate your bias.
Nope.
I am not going to mitigate your uncomfortability. That's on you.
That's your fault.
So I'm bringing all of me.
And your problem.
And I'm bringing all of these locks and all of these tats and all of this education.
35 and counting.
So it is what it is, right? And we're going to keep this going.
And we're going to keep it moving.
And we all, and like I said, and you said it too, we all get to this point at different levels, right? Yeah. I have a young daughter who is there. But it's because she also kind of led that or walked that journey with me. I just think back to if I had gotten there at that age, what on earth could I have accomplished at this point?
Exactly.
Right? But if I can inspire somebody else, come on, let's accelerate it. Let's all like uplift and love ourselves for who we are.
But really, it ties back to that educational piece.
Full circle. Come on now.
It ties back to the educational piece because we are taught, because I come from parents, my parents are baby boomers. Okay. My grandparents are what is now being called the silent generation. My grandparents didn't talk about shit.
Yeah.
You ask my grandfather a question about something in his childhood, zero response.
Nope.
Shut down. He never talked about his time living in Alabama. Never. He moved to Michigan when he was 12 years old.
Still the case. That's
Never
still the case.
talked about his time when he lived in Alabama. None of his brothers, anytime I would bring up, well, what?
The pain.
Move.
Yeah, that's trauma.
On.
Yeah.
We're leaving that there. So you got the silent generation, and then the next generation was just like, go to school, graduate from school, get a good job, work this job forever, retire.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now, me, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going to figure it out. Okay, I had a corporate job. I think I liked it maybe 90% of the time. I liked it 10% of the time.
Oh, wow.
90% of the time, I was just like, I hate this shit, and the only reason I'm here is because I need to shit.
Yeah, you have bills to pay.
I got bills to pay. I got a house, you know what I'm saying?
I enjoyed my career. Like, full transparency. I enjoyed my career. It was tough.
10% of the time.
Yeah, it was tough.
I loved when my clients would be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You helped me out.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. Clients used to send me things. It was awesome. I like that part. The bullshit I had to deal with.
So pretty much you like anybody that wasn't a part of your immediate workforce. I love my clients. I love my customers.
They weren't all bad.
Yeah.
You know,
no, that's not what you're saying. You're just saying generally.
Yeah.
This was the environment.
It was,
and it's hostile,
and
it was toxic.
It was pressure because it was a numbers game.
Yeah.
Like most corporate jobs, it's about the numbers.
Yeah.
What is the bottom line?
Yeah.
What are you bringing in? And I was doing millions of dollars of business for the company.
And had they stuck to that, it would have been a very different outcome.
That part.
But then when you overlay all of the race and all of the colorism and all of the other things that we bring or that are brought to us. Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this up with the final thought, food for thought for today. Food for thought. Is it enough or is it all a dream? You know, we're taught certain things in life from our parents, from our grandparents, if you're lucky. If you're really lucky and blessed, you have great-grandparents too. They give you all of these little nuggets to help you throughout your life, but they give you the nuggets from their perspective, which isn't necessarily how things are done now. It's how things were done when they were coming up. So it's like, are we living this dream where we go work 9 to 5, which is more like 8 to 7? When people are working 10 plus hours a day, but then the companies don't want to pay you overtime. But then if you don't work, then, you know, you get written up because you're not putting in the time. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So it's like, are we living this dream? What are we chasing? Or is it just a dream? Because, you know, it's like partly superficial, partly, you know, you can't make it, partly you got to have 5 jobs just to maintain. So come back next week. We got more to talk about. Thanks for tuning in to the Elle Bee Show. Make sure you share, subscribe, and sound off. I hope you got stung. Who knew it could feel so good?